One of the suspects involved in yesterday's deadly police chase is now behind bars. Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. Thank you for joining us. Well, we are learning more tonight about the Prince George's police officer killed in a Beltway accident Monday and the suspects wanted in connection with his death. Police say the silver Acura involved in the chase was recovered early this morning in Southeast D.C., and a suspect believed to be the passenger was taken into custody for questioning. Yesterday afternoon, 23-year-old Adrian Morris and his partner were pursuing suspects in the vehicle at speeds over 100 miles per hour when their cruiser crashed into a ditch on Interstate 95 just south of Powder Mill Road. Morris died and his partner was injured. Police say the incident began when the two officers were called to a Shell gas station on Sandy Spring Road in Laurel for an attempted vehicle theft. Today, colleagues of Officer Morris spoke about their loss. They say he was a fearless and devoted policeman with a sense of humor and a huge heart.
He was outgoing. He was definitely outgoing. He was short, but he made the best out of any situation, and I mean, he loved interacting with different people and interacting with the youth group.
And we used to call him the Munchkin. I used to call him Mini-Me. And he said the Munchkin was good police, and he did nothing that none of us standing out here would have done. So absolutely.
And Morris was on the force 2.5 years. Born in Jamaica, he grew up in Laurel and became a U.S. citizen in 2009. He graduated from Eleanor Roosevelt High School and was a mentor to young people in the Police Explorers program. The investigation into his death continues, and the suspected driver of the Acura remains at large. Police are asking anyone with information to call Crime Solvers at 1-866-411-TIPS. A reward of $25,000 is being offered for the tip that leads to the arrest and conviction of the motorist who contributed to the death of Officer Morris. Meantime, fellow officers in the community at large are mourning the loss of the young officer. Though he was on the force for less than 3 years, he already had an impact on many around him. Denise Douglas explains.
I'm here at the Fraternal Order of Police in Upper Marlboro, where you can see that the flag directly behind me is at half-staff. And then over the building, a black cloth is draped in Officer Adrian Morris's memory. He was killed in a crash as he and a fellow officer were pursuing suspects yesterday. He'd only been on the force for 2.5 years, but it was truly what everyone says he dreamed of doing. He was, in fact, in the police department's Explorers program as a teen, and even as an officer remained involved, mentoring other young people. The president of the FOP says he will truly be missed, and today is a very sad day for officers everywhere.
These brave men, were trying to do their job. We're doing it on behalf of the citizens of Prince George's County, and one of them ultimately made, the supreme sacrifice here. And it's sad. It's very unfortunate. And I mean, you're talking about a 23-year-old young man who gave his life.
Police Chief Mark McGaugh says that Officer Morris was the best that the agency has to offer. He was born in Jamaica and grew up in Laurel. No word yet on when he will be laid to rest. I'm Denise Douglas, CTV News.
And County Executive Rashawn Baker reacts to the news of the passing of 23-year-old Adrian Morris. Baker spent the afternoon with the officer's family and the hospital yesterday.
Any time you lose a young one in the county, or anyone, you're saddened. But especially for our public safety officials, it just brings the, in thinking about the young man that was with him who survived. The other officer was one of the cadets I ran with, and he reminded me of that when I went to visit him also. But it reminds me of these men and women put their lives on the line every day for those of us in Prince George's County to keep us safe.
And the other officer involved has been released from the hospital and is expected to fully recover. Meantime, the 23-year-old fallen officer who graduated in 2007 from Eleanor Roosevelt High School in Greenbelt and at Roosevelt Morris was a cadet in the junior ROTC program. His former instructor, Major Salvatore Bova, reflects on his character and influence.
Honest with people, he was very straightforward. He could be trusted with his word, and if you gave him work to do, that was going to be done correctly and timely. So he was just a person of strong character.
Bova says Morris's classmates have reached out to him to talk about the tragic accident. Well, two 19-year-old college students are dead after a CSX train derailed in Ellicott City early this morning. Elizabeth Nass and Rose Mayer were on the tracks, police say, adding that they don't know what the women were doing there. The train was traveling from Grafton, West Virginia to Baltimore when 21 of the 80 cars went off course. Parts of the train fell into a parking lot, crushing vehicles that were there. The Transportation Safety Board has stepped in to begin investigating. Crews had to clean up the coal that spilled from the train. And a Maryland resident is among the 7 Americans killed after a copter crashed in a remote area near Kandahar, Afghanistan. 28-year-old Patrick Feeks of Edgewater, a Navy SEAL, was assigned to a unit out of Coronado, California. Feeks was one of 2 Navy SEALs killed in the crash. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone.